And the spokesman for Qatar's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has confirmed that Hamas has given a positive response to the latest proposal to pause the fighting for 60 days. It includes the release of a number of Israeli captives in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. Majid al-Ansari says Israel has yet to send its response.
What I can tell you is, and I won't say if this is different or similar to previous iterations, but what I can tell you is that we have a positive response from Hamas. That positive response, according to what we know, is almost all that was agreed before by Israel in previous iterations of these talks. We are yet to receive a response from the Israeli side, so we cannot make any claims that a breakthrough has been made. But we do believe it is a positive point when we have a positive response from Hamas over the agreement that was there on the table since.
Well, the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the Trump administration is discussing the Gaza ceasefire proposal that Hamas has responded positively to.
I don't think it's a coincidence that Hamas accepted this proposal after the President of the United States posted a very strong statement about this conflict on Truth Social yesterday. I would refer you back to that statement. As for this proposal that Hamas has now accepted, the United States continues to discuss it, and I'll let the President weigh in on it definitively.
Marwan Bishara is Al Jazeera senior political analyst. He's joining us from London. Good to have you with us, Marwan. Well, we heard earlier a spokesman for Qatar's Foreign Affairs Ministry speaking about this positive response from Hamas. He also said that what Hamas has agreed to are things that Israel has already agreed to in the past. So give us some context. How much of a step forward could this be?
Yeah, I think the key word here is in the past. And the Netanyahu government has been changing its position depending on its progress in the war. And they calculate that they are winning and that they are making some serious wins within Gaza. And while the Arabs are not necessarily paying much attention, while the Europeans are turned their back to Ukraine or on Ukraine, and while Trump has given the green light for Netanyahu to finish the job, as it were, in Gaza, there seems to be very little movement on the Netanyahu side to accept the deal. The fact that he would push it from Sunday to Friday, that's the entire working week in Israel, right? The entire working week. Why does he need exactly the entire working week to respond? Because he wants to continue with the war. As he looks into these various proposals or ideas, it's all to say that he's trying to gain time in order to finish the job. And I think if he can just avoid it altogether, he will.
If I understand it correctly, what Hamas is said to have responded positively to is broadly what UN and US envoy Steve Witkoff had put in place, which was a staged release of captives in exchange for Palestinian prisoners and also the movement backwards of some Israeli troops in Gaza. But I understand that one Israeli broadcaster is quoting a statement from the office of Benjamin Netanyahu who's saying Israel demands the release of all 50 hostages. Now, is this in relation to what you're talking about, that this is a move already by Benjamin Netanyahu to start putting obstacles in place to moving this forward?
It could be understood in both ways. One, it's just basically to say no to this and to say yes to something else that we don't know what exactly is going to be or look like or and so on. And the other way of looking at it is to say that he has a whole other thing in mind where he's not going to allow Hamas any minor victory of parading former prisoners in Gaza and to say, look, we liberated them despite 2 years of genocide and so on and so forth. He's just not going to allow Hamas any quick wins whatsoever. And the idea of releasing those, life prison sentence captives is going to, hurt him, as it were, among his base in Israel. And why would he want to do that now? The whole idea of him engaging now in a diplomatic process where he's already full-fledged in his military campaign, thinking that the military campaign is going to achieve all his objectives, taking over Gaza, freeing the captives, whether dead or alive, destroying Hamas, dislodging it, and perhaps being able to ethnically cleanse Gaza, because they are in negotiations apparently with a number of countries around the world, whoever they are, because they are continuing with the program of transfer, and they call it now, of course, the Trump vision. Anything else that involves 60 days of no war, 60 days of basically, sitting on their hands, 60 days of Hamas trying to, take a deep breath and claim some form of victory. This is not at all in Netanyahu's favor, in his coalition favor, or in his general overall strategy about what to do next in Palestine.
Our correspondent Hamda was telling us earlier on about the sizable protests we've seen in Israel with regard to Benjamin Netanyahu's reluctance, as the protesters put it, to make returning the captives a priority. Now, he's criticized those protests. He's also said to get the captives back, we have to finish the job and we have to finish Hamas. Does that not even suggest that even if there is the remotest possibility of a ceasefire, however temporary it is, the intention is that Israel will eventually go back into Gaza?
I think after 60 days, it's going to be, for him, apparently, or for his people, it's going to be difficult to go back. Already in the last time, he waited as much as he could, and he just rushed back because he canceled the second and third phase. But he doesn't want to even give that little win, if you will, for Hamas. And on the other hand, on the domestic scene, look, I'm sure I'll probably need to paraphrase it, but I think he said something to the effect, all politics is dirty, but the Israeli politics is dirtier than most, right? So I think he understands too well, as the most seasoned politician, the longest serving prime minister in Israel, what exactly is the game domestic. And he reckons that all these people demonstrating against him and their families and supporters are not his base, and they will not vote for him in the next elections, even if he liberates, even if he signs on this temporary ceasefire. So for him, there is no political win from satisfying the families of the captives. And I've said from day one, if you remember, Rob, that it was always for Netanyahu destroying Hamas first, taking on Gaza, and then the captives. The captives were never, since day one, they were never his priority. His priority is defeating Hamas and taking over Gaza.
Marwan Bishara, Al Jazeera's senior political analyst, thank you very much indeed for being with us.
Don't miss out, get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.